Welcome to the Startup Grind.
Okay, so, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. Such a beautiful day, Cardiff, beautiful sunshine. Maybe that's why we have so many people here tonight. So thank you all for coming, and it's a pleasure to see you. So I'll just say a few things about Startup Grind before we start with our first speaker. So Startup Grind Cardiff is sponsored by Google and Google for Entrepreneurs, and we are in 315 countries around the world. 315 cities, 110 countries. And the whole ethos about these events is about educating entrepreneurs and inspiring them and connecting them as well. And because we are one of the largest networks in the world, we can help anyone around the world as well, and with everywhere. So about our speakers tonight, we're pleasure to have Kiki Choda tonight, and she's got an amazing portfolio of experience and things that she can say and share with everyone here tonight. She has a portfolio of, particularly in marketing, she has so much experience, and I'm looking forward to listening her story, which I'm sure everyone will enjoy as well. So without further ado, can you please welcome Kiki Choda.
Hello, thank you, Elio.
Hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
So you didn't have to travel far tonight?
No, I didn't. I live in Cardiff.
Okay, excellent. So as a tradition with Startup Grind, we start by saying where you were born and the things that might have interested you before as well. So could you perhaps start by saying things, where you were born and anything like that, just to kind of give a background.
Okay, so I was born in Southeast Africa, and I was very small when my parents came over. In fact, my grandparents came over first, and then my parents did. I've been here all my life. I've worked here all my life. I've had several different jobs, and I've worked in different industries as well. The majority of it's been in marketing. That's about it.
Okay. One thing I forgot to say, it's a special event tonight because it's Female Leaders Night. So we've got great speakers like yourself, Leanne afterwards as well. But coming back to your story, so you were born in South Africa, and did you go to school in South Africa?
No, not at all. I was 6 months old, or less than that. I think it was like 4 months old when my parents came over. Yeah, Southeast Africa, yes.
Okay, and in school, what did interest you at school?
So I think I loved school. When I was in primary school, it was all about going to school and having lots of friends and playing with my friends, and I still have that close-knit friendship, and it was here in Cardiff. And then I went to high school, and again I still keep in touch with my high school friends, or there's a group of us that keeps in touch. And I think when I left school, I wasn't very good. I ran off to London for a few months, and then I came back, and to my mother's dismay, she wanted me to stay there. She wanted me to come home. She wanted me to go to college and go up the whole academic ladder, and I really didn't want to. So I started on some of these apprenticeship courses that were out there, and I started in learning how to do clerical work. And then after learning how to do some clerical work with people like the BBC and with the Marriage, which was then the Holiday Inn, I then slowly had an appetite to work really hard and really quickly. So I was never somebody who focused on just doing the job in hand and going home. I always wanted to give extra, and I always did give extra. But I think my actual career started at Marks and Spencer. So back in the day, Marks and Spencer were only taking on part-time people, and it was temporary. And when I first applied for the role, it was part-time, it was temporary, and within 6 weeks I got a full-time job there, and within those 6 weeks they gave me a permanent position as well, so it was very hard. And I really thrived around the environment, and I thought I wanted to work in sales as a sales assistant. Within a year, I started to work for the security team, and then within a year and a half of working at Marks and Spencer, I worked behind the scenes on CCTV, and then I became a store detective.
Okay.
And after my stint as a store detective, I was working for Baker Street, and I worked with some other store detectives, but what we did was internal policy, so we looked at the internal insights, profit and loss of staff basically pilfering from the business, and we started to focus on that. After I left Marks and Spencer, I left after about 7 years, I retrained, reskilled, and I started to learn how to use a computer and how to do more clerical work, because I've been out of the industry for quite some time, and really that's where the whole marketing career began. So I did my diploma, I started to go to university and learn about design, and then I worked for a marketing agency as the PA to a director, so not a secretary, an actual PA, because I took over the whole of his diary and really worked on, he'd be up in North Wales, I'd be down here in South. And then before I knew it, because I was really interested in marketing, I started to run events for the business. So really my marketing career snowballed from there, and I've been in marketing ever since.
So you must really have a passion for marketing.
I love marketing, I love the communications, I very much enjoy how people, especially all these different ways of communicating now, and of recent years, I really enjoy the online arena of marketing.
So there's been quite a few changes.
There's been lots of changes, and I've been embracing these changes, because these changes mean that we can keep moving forward. There's been times in my career where I've worked for businesses. I've worked abroad with a marine engineering company, or I've worked abroad, and there's been times when, I'm not talking about this specific company, where businesses won't change because of the culture in the business, or they won't, the hierarchy of boss won't allow any more movement, and then this is where people become stagnant. And in my eyes, this is where I was thinking, well, now's the time for me to move on or do something different. But it's always been in marketing.
Excellent. And did you see that perhaps the perception, because being a female theme tonight, that perhaps that people can't move on, is that because there is a male domination in some ways, or is that because people are just happy to settle down, or they just kind of think that there's nothing else they can do unless if they leave the company? Is there anything you'd like to say about that?
So do you think, are you asking me as a female, do I think are females in a lesser position to?
The perception is that the case?
So I think, my current role, it involves a lot of social media. I'm working with other businesses and CEOs, CFOs, surgeons, different types of people. And I think the people that I work with, they're all males. And I think what we should do is, as females, is we need to grasp, we need to get the confidence, like our male counterparts do, and continue to really hammer home that we can do it as well. I don't think, yes, there are times when the opportunity isn't open, not because you're a female, but because the male peer might have a better skill set or more of a skill set. But also, I've learned and I feel that when I've spoken to male colleagues previously, when applying for jobs, they might look at something, they might look down the list and say, I haven't got X, Y, Z, but it's okay, I'll learn. And as a female, personally, I've gone look down the list and go, oh, I haven't got that, and do you know what, I'm not going to apply for it. And I think, talking to friends and family and other colleagues who are females, I feel that they look at that as well in the same vein, but this needs to change. I haven't recently, since setting up my own business, I haven't been doing that. I'm just like any other person who's hungry for business and who wants to work with other people. I'll go out there and I'll start working with them.
That's I'm sure everyone is quite impressed with that. So from your previous role when you left, what was the main motivation? Was that because you couldn't do anything else, or was that perhaps a passion for marketing that you thought you could do it better on your own?
So for my last role, I'd applied for other jobs in marketing, and I was finding that every time I was going for a job interview, I was thinking, I want more than just a role. I want more than working for someone else. I give a lot. I push myself, and I didn't feel that the job roles that I was applying for were really giving me that back. And I'd actually gone to a few interviews, and I'd been given the opportunity to start in new jobs, and then I'd declined on a couple of occasions because I thought, well, I guess I haven't got a job right now, but I kind of push back or pull back. What I did find though was that when I was going through this stage, I was still working for the odd few clients that I was always working with on the side, and somebody then turned around and said, oh, you're already working for yourself, so why don't you extend this? And I thought, actually, that's a really good idea. And it was really through word of mouth. So I just said, yeah, okay, I'll give it a go. I didn't have a website. Actually, didn't have a website until most recently, which is really weird considering I work in the online arena. But so slowly, through word of mouth, I just got bigger and bigger. And now it's the best thing I've ever done. It's, I said earlier on to you guys that I feel that I fear that I may, if this doesn't work out the way I want it to work out, that I might have to go and work for somebody else, and that fear is in me, and I'm very hungry for work. I'm very hungry to progress in what I'm doing, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to feel hungry and have those thoughts.
You don't always have to work for other people. You could start another business, or you could join perhaps another project. So that's, doesn't always have to be in your mind, at least from my experience, because I know I can't work for other people at the moment, perhaps never, who knows. But what's, so that's what you did after you left that position to start this company?
Yes, I did, yes.
Okay. So at the moment, do you employ anyone, or do you?
No, I use resources. Okay. So I have people out there that I will tap into their resource, and I will, collaborate with them and work with them. But I don't actually employ someone because I think, again, this is a new business, and I think I have an issue with the confidence, because I work with clients on a one-to-one basis and I take over their persona. I don't feel I can give that to somebody else to run, because it's extremely confidential. It's a personal brand of a person, and trying to get the client to understand that I'm going to do that is one thing, and yes, they've seen a portfolio of things that I've done for other people. However, trying to bring in somebody on board and giving them that responsibility, I don't think I'm ready to let go just yet.
I understand that. So what will be your ideal scenario? Let's say, what's the most work that you can do, for you to be, say, that's it, there's nothing else I can do no more until I hire someone to help me? Is it 10 CEOs, or? Because there's only so many hours during the day, and there's so much work that you have to do.
Yeah, so I'm getting to that already. I know I've got to that, not I'm getting to that. I've already got to that point. I think my next step is, just the way I work is when I'm working for the executives, what happens is I tend to work with their business afterwards. So there's a follow through on the work that I do, not all the time, sometimes. And I think this is where I can start employing people that can work on the business, and I continue working with the CEOs. But at some point I will have to let go, and I will have to find the right person or right people that can take over the accounts of these executive directors, really.
So in general, what's your general overview of other people that may provide similar services to you? What makes you different? Is that one-to-one service, as you mentioned? Is that what differentiates your business?
So I've not found another business within Wales that does this, and in fact just slightly beyond Wales. However, when I did start up the business and I started to put out that I'm doing this work and to increase more traffic, all of a sudden I was talking to different agencies, marketing agencies, and they turned around and all of a sudden there were things on their website and they were saying we're doing this too, which was quite interesting. And I don't think that's a bad thing because it's healthy and it makes you disrupt yourself, I suppose, and you need to do that to understand how you're going to grow. So I've recently found there's a lady in the southeast that does something similar to me, but again she doesn't work for CEOs or top line executives, she works for anybody, which is great, it's a good thing. In America, however, in the States, where my clientele did start, there seems to be a lot more people that are doing this. But you've got things like actors and actresses, and they have the same thing going on for them. So there's always there's a lot of opportunity out there for people to work in this arena. I like what I do. I like it when there's a bit of disruption because it keeps me on my toes and it makes me think about how I'm going to grow further. So I don't think it's a big problem, but the differentiation is that I have a portfolio I have a questionnaire of information that I specifically ask my clients, and then just before I become them, I send them this information. The feedback I've had is things like, wow, you were spot on, how do you know me so well? And I think having that is it's not psychoanalyzing by any means, but it's just taking on that personality to be able to then draft up those posts before they go out online, telling people about who they are.
Yes. So what would be your advice for someone to attempt to do something as well as you do? What is that getting to know someone so well that you know the things that they like and don't like online to be posted?
Yeah, so I think if somebody was going to jump into these shoes and do something similar, then I would definitely say your client is number one. I know your client is number one everywhere, but you've got to be very mindful because confidentiality is absolutely huge. I will never, ever, ever divulge who my client is. The only way I've had business is if they want to tell other people about my services. But other than that, this is why it's a tough market. So confidentiality is absolutely high on the agenda. You will never ever tell anybody who your client is, not even your own partner or your own family. And the second thing is you need to be spot on about their personality because you are them. So when I am behind that laptop and I'm typing away, I am that person. So I am that man who has said to me, go ahead, take over my profile.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's why you've got such a good reputation, and especially internationally as well. So what does differentiate the UK market from the US market?
So what I found is that I always thought that we were more stiff upper lip in the UK, but actually that's not true. I've found that the US market is a lot more challenging in terms of when they want something said, it has to be perfect. I mean, they do here, but it has to be absolutely perfect. And they don't like, they're very outspoken in the sense that they want people to know what their product is or what their brand is or their personal brand is. But they don't specifically like to, they don't want you to divulge, very minute information. Whereas here, I think in Britain, we tend to, we're quite happy for people to find out things about us, but then there's a stopgap, and it's when we say stop, it stops.
So for your business, going forward, what would you like to happen in your business?
So
would you always like to be based in Cardiff? Sorry to interrupt.
No, absolutely not. So my US clients don't think I'm in Cardiff, they think I'm in the US because I do actually work out there, and I've got European clients as well. So I'm quite international, and I think the future for my business is that it grows exponentially, and it's only going to grow because once I have the trust to let go, and I think the future for this is that there's a lot of work out there. It is being done, it can be done, and I think, the world's my oyster right now.
So going forward in 5-10 years, you mentioned that that's the best scenario for yourself, but if there was a standard across the industry where no one knows who the customers are and you provide that confidential agreement, if you like, how would you maybe teach other people? Because that you can't give examples apart from doing those tests. How would you, I'm trying to find a good question here, how would you, let's say, give a good service? Because every customer has a different personality, different background. How would you deal with uncertainty where people don't know who you are, let's say if you're searching for a new customer and if you can't say who your customers are, how would you deal with that without knowing, apart from saying, yes, I do a good job, but I can't say what I do because that's part of it.
So I have a couple of customers that are already on my website who have agreed to be on there, and they're quite happy for me to say that.
Okay.
There's a couple that I have where they don't want their name branded out, and they don't want me to say that they're quite happy for me to talk about their case studies, which is a lot of what I do, and they're quite happy to be contacted, but they don't specifically want to be on my website. So I use those people that have said and agreed to that to grow my business, but also the bottom line is I will never ever divulge that information unless they want to. So my business will only grow if these people, like the ones that I have on the website and the people that are happy to be contacted, agree really.
Well, that's the best way to do it. So in terms of technology, is there anything you see that might change in the future to help you to do your work better?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's some AI. We all know about artificial intelligence is coming, and in fact, earlier today when I was at the digital festival, I was looking at how I can again disrupt my business so that I can use AI within what I'm doing. I don't know what the answer is yet. I'm sure there is something out there. There's bound to be something out there, but I am a big believer of we need to keep moving. So it's not about just being stagnant and having the same whole process and doing the same thing. And I think it's really helpful when, again, when I was at the festival earlier on, a couple of people asked me questions and they were quite interesting questions on how I would see my business moving in the future. I don't know. The answer is, no, I don't think any of us know what's going to happen in the future. But what I do know is I'm ready, I'm poised for change, and it can't stay as it is because things are moving on absolutely, so quickly, exponentially, that you just don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
So what's your favorite social media platform?
So I don't have a favorite social media platform, but what I do enjoy in my business is the growth. So people come to me because they want to grow their personal, it is a growing their personal brand profile because people buy people. But it's to grow their business, it's to grow their networking opportunities, it's to grow, it's to sell their business in some cases, it's to bring that, when they're bringing in more clientele, it's to have a specific personal one-to-one interaction. So surgeons, for example, will have a one-to-one interaction with their clientele. So it's really pushing that out and being that person. And when you sit there and you learn about the person that you're going to work with or on behalf of in the future, it's quite exciting to know who this person is and really delving in and trying to find out what the bottom line is for them, and then trying to get that out in front of other people.
That's fantastic. So, is there any advice you would like to give to anyone starting a business, or if they are in business and they haven't used your services? Any advice which you can give to them too? So
I think if they want to start a business, any business really, I think that they need to change quickly. So they need to be adaptable because before I started this business as a business, there were lots of changes that came in, and I wasn't really ready for those changes. But as soon as I could see, well, if I want this to work, I need to change. So I think change is a big thing. I think think having the right people around you, if I didn't have friends, colleagues and family around me, I don't think it would have worked out the way it is today. So having the right people is really important. And I have two specific mentors. One mentor is to help me with the way I come across in front of people, but the second mentor is to do with business acumen, so the everyday things that I might question, and he actually pushes me and challenges me. So I think it's really important to have mentors in your life who can do that, because by them pushing you and getting you to challenge your own mental state on your business, I think it's getting one step ahead of everything that you want to do or need to do.
Yes, I agree with that.
And definitely watch television if you're watching the news. That's a must, I think, so you know what's happening out there. And also podcasting. I'm a big believer of listening to podcasts to upskill, because I think all business owners should upskill themselves. I don't think we should stay stagnant.
That's fantastic. That's great to hear. And I'm sure, we'll kind of get to know each other better, as time goes on as well. And I'm based in Cardiff as well, so I look forward to meet you again at many other events in the future as well.
Thank you.
So it's been a pleasure, Kiki. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we finish tonight? Or?
Okay.
Okay. Can we give a big round of applause? Enjoy that?
Yes, that was great.
Oh my gosh.
It looks nerve-wracking. You know